Welcome to the Sacred Conversations with the Gigantic Intellect. This morning I want to speak about the National People's Assembly of the Economic Freedom Fighters. A National People's Assembly is an elective conference of the EFF, where EFF elects its leadership, the top 6 leadership and the CCT, the Central Command Team. And that particular elective conference would be held in December this year. I was triggered to talk about this because last night as I was going through Twitter, I came across so many tweets that were nominating certain people as the candidate for the top positions. And one of the people that were nominated by the student command of the EFF in particular, because student command is very, very aggressive and firm in its nomination of certain people within the party. And those particular people are accused of wanting to leave the party since the departure of Floyd Shivambu, who was the deputy president, the founding deputy president of the party. So as I was going through Twitter, one thing that I realized, as we know, EFF is a party that has been accused, particularly Julius has been someone that has been accused of being a dictator, of dictating to people within the party whom they should elect. One thing that impressed me with the firmness and aggressiveness of student command is the fact that they nominated their candidate unapologetically, and seemingly the best candidate for the student command is Mbuyiseni Ndlozi. So many people have nominated him. It's not only the student command, but so many wards of the EFF across the provinces. They've nominated Mbuyiseni Ndlozi. And Mbuyiseni Ndlozi is someone that has been accused of wanting to leave the party since Floyd has left. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with regards to this, because Julius said we are going to deal with people that just want positions within the party, people that are loyal to Floyd and whatever. But seemingly the candidate, the delegates of the EFF are in support of Floyd, in support of Mbuyiseni Ndlozi. Others have nominated him for being the SG, for the SG positions. Others have nominated him for the DP position. It's something that I believe is going to give Julius a lot of challenges, especially going through the conference. Because what is very, very important, something which EFF must realize in this particular time, is that they must realize that they've dropped in their election. They've dropped in the election. And one of the reasons they dropped in the election was their position on immigration, particularly the messaging, not the written remarks of the policy, but the way it was represented, particularly by Julius. Because the policy on paper makes sense, but the people who are communicating the position, particularly the face of the organization, which is Julius, is someone that has compromised that position, and as a result of that, it has led to people misunderstanding the position. When it speaks about people must find creative ways to get into the country and whatever. When it speaks about imaginary borders, of course in South Africa there are imaginary borders. There are no physical borders. They are imaginary borders. But the arrogance that he used when he spoke of that was truly problematic, according to me and according to a whole lot of people. So if the EFF is to improve, it must go beyond Julius as the face of the organization. I'm not saying Julius must not be elected, but if the organization is to grow, Julius must stop dictating whom the candidate should elect or who the delegate should elect, because that perpetuate this narrative that is pushed by the media that says Julius is a dictator. When he tells people whom they should vote for, which is something that most people does who are in politics, they do that. They tell the candidate or the delegates which leader or which slate they should vote for, which is something that is problematic to many of us. So if the EFF is to survive this, because the elective conference, this year's elective conference would be an important elective conference for the EFF, especially looking at their survival or their resurrection, because it's a party that has declined by 1% in the national election. So what they do in that particular conference would determine the future of the organization. My advice when it comes to that is Julius, of course, must impose his slate. Of course, that is his right to say, these are the people that I want to lead with. But if the candidate decide otherwise, he must also accept that reality, because the EFF is a party that believes in democratic centralism, particularly Julius. Because when we think about the EFF, we think about Julius in particular, because he has been the face of the party and he has been the founding president of the party. But he did not found the party alone. There are people who supported him to build the EFF to the weapon that it is today. So if the EFF is to survive, Julius must understand that the party does not belong to him. It belongs to the people. But if he carries on by believing that the party belongs to him, then people are still going to leave the party in majority and he will remain within the party alone. And EFF will drop, just like what happened to COPE. It will disappear from South African politics. So what the party needs to do is to understand that the delegates have the right to decide which candidate they support. I know that Mbuyiseni has been accused of wanting to leave the party. As we all know, we were all shaken by the departure of Floyd. Even Julius himself, he even went to the extent of wanting to violate the constitution of the party just to retain Floyd. So we were all shaken, just like Mbuyiseni and others were all shaken by the departure of Floyd. But Mbuyiseni has been loyal to the party. To this day, he has been doing what the party expects of him, meaning that he may have had the idea of leaving the party, but because of he never knew where to go, that's the reason he remained in the party. So I believe if the EFF is to preserve its most competent cadres, they must preserve Mbuyiseni. Mbuyiseni must be one of those people that are being preserved, and they must be given leadership positions, important and influential leadership positions. And for me, because Mbuyiseni has served the party with so much diligence and hard work, he must be given a position in the top 6. He has worked hard for that position, and it is now the time has arrived for him to be elected. And I strongly believe that he's at the pole position to take a top 6 position. It may be that of the DP or that of the SG, but he deserves something within the party. And many people have shown support towards Mbuyiseni, and I believe if the EFF is to survive, they must accept the views of the delegates, and seemingly the delegates are in support of Mbuyiseni, even though Julius may not be in support. Julius says he doesn't have any problem with Mbuyiseni, but seemingly, especially after the departure of Floyd, there were speculations that Julius was no longer in good terms with Mbuyiseni Ndlozi. So I believe that the delegates must be honest to themselves, must be honest to the party, and do something that's going to please the party, not the individuals within the party. They must do what is best for the organization. And right now, what is best for the organization is for Mbuyiseni Ndlozi and other young people in the EFF to be given positions of significance. Sinao must be given a position of significance. Vuyani must be given a position of significance. Ndlozi must be given a position of significance. And again, Godrich Gadi, which is someone that has been loyal to the EFF also, must also be given a position of significance. So, but if they don't do that, if the party does not do that with the influence of Julius, then after the conference, there are so many people that are going to leave the party. And right now, if you lose Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, you have lost so many young people, because there's so many young people that love Julia, that love Ndlozi, including myself. I'm a big fan of Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, and I believe he should be given a position of significance within the party. Of course, I'm not speaking as a member of the party. I'm speaking as a voter, a loyal voter of the party who has voted for the EFF for quite some time now. And I don't intend on stopping voting for them. But if they continue making fouls and errors and blunders, then I'm going to have a problem with that, and that is going to lose them vote. They have to realize that Mbuyiseni Ndlozi has influence, and his influence is particularly on the student command. His influence is on young people, because many young people look up to him. They are inspired by him. We are all inspired by Mbuyiseni Ndlozi. Obtained PhD at a very young age, very smart, speaks very well, has charisma. We're able to relate with him within the party. Some of us who started voting for the party, one of the reasons were that the party had young and brilliant young people such as Sinawo Tambo, Vuyani Pambo, Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, among those that have forced some of us to vote for the party. And if you can even check how he was articulating his thoughts on the immigration policy of the EFF, I can believe that without a doubt, he's the best spokesperson for the party, particularly on the immigration policy, because that is a policy that has caused so many havoc within the party, and also that moved people away from voting for the party. So I believe Julius must respect the delegates. He must not victimize anyone for voting for people that they love, because you can't always impose your thoughts, impose your slates, impose your candidates on other people. Let the people decide on themselves. Of course, you must have your preferred slate. That is your right. But if people choose to elect other people, you must not have a problem with that. And if people decide to contest Julius, then he must not have a problem with it. That's something that I thought it was very important for me to articulate this morning. And I just hope for the best in this upcoming elective conference. I believe the survival of the EFF relies on the decisions that they will make in that particular conference, relies on the people that are going to be elected in that particular conference. And if the EFF decides to not elect Ndlozi, I believe that would be the biggest blunder, because so many people are still going to leave the party. So many people are still going to leave the party, because when you are not satisfied within the party, it's very important for you to remain there. When you are not given responsibility, huge responsibility within the party, then there will be problems. And Ndlozi is someone that has earned that, is very, very competent in his work, is very, very loved by the people. He's loved by the people, loved by the student command, loved by majority of members of the EFF. I don't think there's anyone that hates Mbuyiseni within the membership of the EFF, and within the student command, and within the public. We love him in numbers. And if he's not elected in that particular conference, I believe that would be the biggest blunder that EFF has ever made. There's the gigantic intellect. Know thyself and remember your ancestors. Peace.